And so, of course, today, myself and our other incredible LD4, Ifra Hassan, will be doing the actual call together. However, Ifra will be doing a bit of the later parts. She's actually currently in attendance at a huge trade show. So again, she's always hustling, always working hard, always building her business, always on the field. And so, of course, but nonetheless, we have an amazing training for you today, the 222, and sometimes we have to get back to the basics, right? And oftentimes we try to get fancy or we kind of forget about these most common things that we should be doing because they're just so effective. They've been around, these training principles have been around for so long, and so we just cannot forget to do some of these things. And so whether you're a senior veteran in this company or you're brand new, I'm sure that these trainings always serve as a great knowledge base and of course a huge reminder for those of us who have been in the business for a lot longer. So thank you so much for all of your good mornings and your hellos. As always, please, it's not too late to invite people in your team to send some quick text messages to join this call, right? Because again, the more people that we can help you train, the less people you have to train yourself, right? And actually, we do have a really bonus training today that I'm going to start off with first, and before we dive into the 222 training. And I'm going to share my screen so you can see what this training is going to be about. And the training is actually on proper dress code. And this is something that, of course, sometimes people take for granted, or they might possibly neglect this kind of stuff. And it's very important, especially for myself. It was extremely important because I started this business when I was 27, and I had already been sort of diving into trying to be in the business world at a much sort of younger age. And what I have actually realized was that the way that I dressed actually makes a huge difference, especially being younger and you're talking to people who are going to be investing with you, paying money to start your actual business. It's really important that you actually do show a level of professionalism because that way they feel more confident, right? And so before I get started, I want to ask you all, like I love always my trains to be very, involved with you guys together. But what are some of the key benefits of actually ensuring that you wear a proper dress code? What are some of the benefits or some of the key pointers as to why you think you should show up to a meeting looking like $1 million versus wearing your joggers or perhaps you're wearing, who knows what? So, what are some of the reasons, guys, do you think that coming to a meeting or going to an appointment in proper style, in proper fashion is vitally important? Let's see what we have from the chats, right? Absolutely. So I love that first answer, actually. Monica says confidence. Absolutely. When you actually wear clothes, like a business suit or business kind of attire, one thing that does happen is because you look like $1 million, you also will feel a lot more confident. Imagine going to a meeting dressed in jeans or khakis or jogging shoes, right? You obviously will not feel as confident as you would in wearing an actual business attire. So definitely confidence is a huge thing. Okay, it's huge. Next, of course, is that you're representing the Opulence brand. You're absolutely correct, right? Because again, it's one thing. Imagine if you had business partners in your team and they're in your city out there building the business and they're saying that they're from Opulence, but of course they're not really dressed professionally. One of the biggest things that really shocked me, especially when I was living in Taiwan, was the level of professionalism when it comes to realtors. I've seen realtors here in Toronto, for that matter, who, will show up to a viewing, wearing, jeans or, a jogger or just, dress pants and perhaps a polo. One of the things about Asia, and again, to give you an idea about this, the weather in Taiwan during the summer times can hit 38, 39, 40, and there's no wind. So it's extremely hot. And even for myself, when I was going to, because we're just looking at some different properties, when I was going with these agents, I felt so uncomfortable because I was wearing t-shirt and short goes so hot, yet all of these agents, they're all wearing a full suit from jacket, dress shirt, tie, dress pants, dress shoes, the whole entire thing. And you can tell they're also a little bit sweaty, right? And so I actually asked one of the agents, I said, how come you guys are wearing a full-blown suit when it's like 41 degrees outside? And he said, well, actually, it's mandatory from the company to always be in a full suit. I said, well, I felt back. I was like, I was telling the person, well, maybe you should tell the people that, sometimes you make the client look feel uncomfortable because I see you sweating like crazy. But even when you actually at one time just kind of pat the guy at the back of his jacket, just say, great job, and I could feel my whole hand was just wet from his sweat. But again, I can understand that because from a company branding point of view, you want, your whole entire agency of realtors to look $1 million because you're representing not just yourself, but you're also representing the actual company. So confidence, correct, representing the company, correct, credibility, absolutely, looking professional, yes. So again, I love all the answers we have here. And definitely you gain more respect. So you give respect, but you also gain more respect, you gain more trust again, right? Do they feel that you are going to be the person that is the correct person to actually work with, right? So, love all your answers. They're all absolutely correct. Yeah, Marie's saying also in the Caribbean. Yeah, I'm sure this is the same thing that goes whether you're selling insurances or you're selling, real estate. In the sales world, you have to dress for success. You have to dress to impress. All these key things. All right. So, of course, we're lucky because in our company, guess what? We are a fashion company, right? So it's even easier. So not only are you going to be dressing up with amazing designer fashion, but you're also promoting your own brand at the same time. So fashion is what you buy, style is what you do with it. Opulence Global is committed to our partners to provide not only product design with the latest trends in mind, but also with the necessary styles, how to dress and combine them in the most elegant and luxurious ways. So some really fun quotes to go through. Coco Chanel says, dress shabbily and they remember the dress. Dress impeccably and they remember the woman. Okay, so that's very interesting, right? Dress shabbily and they remember the dress, so the not so good looking dress. Dress impeccably and they will remember the woman. Love that. And from Anonymous, any flaw can be noticed, especially when you are going to meet someone for the very first time. That's very interesting. So the very first time you meet your prospects or your clientele, right? That, as the saying goes, right? The first impression is what? I think someone wrote that down. The first impression is what? Leaves a lasting impression, right? And so you had that first time opportunity to really impress someone, to leave that good impression. And that always happens the very first time you actually meet someone. All right. And so, of course, as always, which products should you be wearing? And at Opulence, we have a line of products that helps create the best stylish for every single day. So, there's a term called business casual. And what is that, right? Business casual is what many people would typically wear for office or meeting new partners. Okay. And this would be like to me the bare minimum you want to be styled with when you're meeting your clientele. So for the guys out there, again, this was a huge training for me because I used to be a programmer and I'd wear joggers to my work and, jogging shoes. So going into the business world is really important for me. But for him, you want to wear, well, that should say dress pants, I believe, wear dress pants, and you want to pair it with a polo shirt or other collared shirt. I do find that a collared shirt always looks a lot better, especially if you want to rope up the actual sleeves unless you have a very, very, fancy looking polo shirt. Okay. You also want to wear dress shoes or loafers. Um, Again, it has to look very stylish, right? So you don't want to wear loafers that look beat up, worn out, and muddy. It's got to look new and crisp and clean, right? And for her, business casual means to, again, uh, wearing dress pants with a fashionable top is appropriate. A casual skirt is also an option. But again, feel free to dress up your outfit with heels, jewelry, and accessories. And it's funny, right? Because um, it's amazing how much a timepiece or a bracelet or jewelry can really spice up your look. Imagine this gentleman here. If I were to remove his business bag and remove his timepiece, what would be your opinion of the style compared to him having a timepiece, perhaps having a nice a pen in his front sleeve here, without having a ring. Again, having all these things really make a big difference, and especially for you ladies out there, you want to have a nice bag, you want to have, I guess, earrings. That always helps too. A necklace, a bracelet, right? So just simply adding a few accessories can completely change how people perceive of you, right? So either you're very plain and dull, or you can literally look like a fancy $1 million person just by adding some accessories, right? So I always suggest people, if you haven't already yet, if you're not already wearing a timepiece, go and order yours right now. If you are wearing a timepiece, but it's not from the company, then why are you doing that? Why would you have someone, compliment your nice timepiece and then it's not even from the company? Why not have a timepiece from the company that you get a compliment for, and you can say, well, guess what? Actually, I can share with you how to get paid to wear and to promote this, right? So if you haven't already, put together yourself with a nice order of a timepiece and bracelet, necklace, rings, and shoes and purses and wallets and merces, do that ASAP, okay? Because it's really going to help you spice up your level and take you again to a whole different level, okay? So a question coming in here is from Monica. Can you break down how to dress for different events like trade shows versus other events, right? So again, minimum, you always want to be business casual. Never be casual, especially in this business, right? Now, for the trade shows, what I would say, or for events where you have a whole team there, if you all have a polo, again, we have Opulence polo shirts, we have, Opulence dress shirts, we have Fountain of Life, polo shirts. If you all wear the same polo shirt, then that's okay because you're in uniform, okay? So at trade shows, it's allowed to wear, for example, the Fountain of Life, polo shirt if you want to, or the Opulence polo shirt. But other than that, I would say everything else aside from trade shows, you want to go looking business casual. Okay, business casual. So now we're going to talk about the pants shape and shoes selection. So there's all different kinds of pants out there, and I'm actually learning as I'm presenting too. So there's palazzo, there's a skinny, there's a wide, cropped, there's flared at the bottom, there's straight, and there's button types of of pants. And here are the different kinds of, I guess, yeah, ladies' shoes, boots or high heels or flats or loafers that you can pair. So these are great ideas on how you can sort of mix and match different pants with shoes selections. Okay, so all these kind of things do work together very well. And next, for the skirts shape and shoe selection. So for the skirts, you have, on the knee or below the knee. So the skirts that go from your waist down to your knee or below the knee. You have the mini skirts and the mid thigh skirts. You have the midi and also the maxi. And again, here are the different kinds of combinations of things that you can wear to go along with these things. Like, for example, with these boots, you wouldn't wear it with a midi or a maxi because it wouldn't really make much sense, right? You would wear this tall boot with a mini skirt or a mid thigh kind of a skirt, right? Because it goes so high up. And so, and for sure, with things like, these kind of loafers or flats, it could work really well with the longer type of skirts. Whereas, usually, I guess it's the shorter you go, then you definitely want to have more of the high heels, right? Okay, so a great sort of guide on what to go with over here too. And so moving along here is the pants shape and shoe selection when it comes to for men. So we have denim pants, we've got shorts, you have the khaki, you have the dress pants, trousers, and the skinny. Again, for me, the first three would not even be business casual. I think neither the last one. So I think the dress pants or the trousers would be where I would stick with. But again, it depends on how you dress it up. So we again with the jeans, then our men's these kind of type of shoes work really well with that. With your shorts, of course, the loafers work very well. And definitely for the dress shoes, you want to have the last three. So again, different combinations of how you can mix and match. And again, wearing these kinds of shoes, even the shoe itself can make a big difference, right? If you're wearing some worn out jogging shoes, doesn't matter what you wear, you won't look business casual. But if you're wearing one of these kind of shoes, even with the denim jeans, you still look somewhat business casual. Okay, so again, just more examples of how you can spice it up for yourself. Now, some other tips here for the men. In order to dress rightly, you need to follow some of the trick and twists which you may or may not know of. Okay, so for example, sometimes you can forget the tie. And if you were to do that, definitely want to open up that top collar. Okay. Um, what you don't want to do sometimes is you don't want to have a dress shirt tucked into your dress pants without the belt. So, it's a big no-no to not have a belt, especially when you're tucking in your dress shirt into your pants. Also, your tie must be proportional. I see some people that tie their tie too low, some are too short. It's got to go right down to so the end of the tie must touch the belt buckle. And yeah, sometimes the first few times you're doing it, you're going to realize that you're making a few mistakes, and you have to undo the tie and do it back again. And you kind of learn actually. Like I have ties that are thicker, I have ties that are shorter. You kind of learn when you touch the tie and the texture, you know how much to pull. But again, if you're doing it, I was wearing ties literally every single meeting. So you do that for a whole entire year, you can become a master of tying ties. You can actually tie a tie without looking in the mirror and have it be perfect every time. So, of course, also for the men, you want to make sure you match colors. So if you're wearing a black belt, you want to have black shoes, right? So we have all kinds of colors of belts in the company. We have blue, we have burgundy, we have gray, we have black, we have, light blue, dark blue, right? So you want to match that with your shoes. So, sometimes if you're wearing a brown belt, then black shoes don't really match. You want to have a brown pair of shoes, right? And of course, lastly, in terms of the sweater rules here, you can see that uh, typically for me, I like to have just the one button. So most of your business jackets will have a few buttons. So if you have one button, always you want to buckle it. If you have two buttons, okay, you never buckle the bottom one, you always buckle the top one. And some even have three buttons. And again, you never ever button the bottom one. You usually always buckle the middle one, okay, and sometimes the top one. But if you have three, you definitely don't buckle the top and need the bottom too. So standard is one button, always buckle, two buttons, always the top one, and three buttons, you always button the middle one, okay, the middle one. So again, for me, sometimes with the first one, I will say that I don't mind having a this kind of a style, especially when I'm in Asia. It's really hot. I just can't wear a jacket, but I do have a tie. I do go in front of the room sometimes like this, and that's actually okay. But again, if you're going to be in a more of a business casual, not like a real formal presentation, then this is also very good as well. So I say they both actually work, personally speaking. I like both. But definitely for the rest of them, the X's in the checkbox, you want to go by that. Okay. So for the ladies, again, tips. When making a good first impression, it's important to remember that every detail counts. So for ladies, always very important to only ever unbutton the top two buttons. Okay, so one and two. So if you were to go and unbutton the third button, I've seen a lot of women, of course, complain to me in their business that sometimes they feel like they are being spoken to not because their prospect has interest in the product, but they found out that they have more interest in them. And again, I've, not all women do this, but I have seen a few ladies that tend to perhaps dress like in option number one over here. I think sometimes, again, it may in some ways be you might be letting on more than you are thinking of. And that could be a possible cause for that, right? And so so rule of thumb, you only ever want to unbutton the top two buckles. And again, make sure you keep it very, very, very professional, right? Also, basic top are considered inappropriate and unprofessional. So of course, you never want to go into a business meeting where you're not really covering up, I guess enough would be the right word to say. You can see here that with the second photo here, it's even though it's showing the arms, but you're covering up, from shoulder to shoulder. Of course, you have, all the way up to the very collar, and of course, you have a nice collar there. So I don't think I have to go much into this. I think most people have that common sense, of course, to understand what is a good level of buttons to actually have. Rosie Felix says, no spaghetti. Um, I'm not even sure what that actually means, no spaghetti, but oh, spaghetti straps, got it. Okay, I just figured it out. Yeah, so I would definitely say no spaghetti straps or no straps, and just have something that goes all the way up. It's a full covering up to the shoulders, right? So, but again, I believe that people here just have that common sense to know better. Okay. So okay, here are some examples of some no-nos and some good ones here. You can see what would be wrong with the first photo here. Do you guys think? I'm gonna take a sip of my coffee here, while we have some of you chime into the group chats a bit more. So what could be one of the issues with the first style? Okay, I mean, there's no spaghetti there, but come on, team. What's going on with the first photo? Okay, it's too busy. What does that mean, guys? What does too busy mean? I'm not sure what that even means. Okay, there we go. Too much conflicting colors. Yes, yes. You guys are seeing my screen, right? You're right, yeah. So it's too much. Yeah, exactly. You have bright red, you got polka dot white, then you have yellow, black, gray, and white. It's just, yeah, it's too busy and it's not, definitely not in sync, right? The middle one is okay because you got solid black dress, you got a black purse, and just one other color. You have this nice sort of leopard print. And of course, the shoes are black. So again, much more uniform with style though, right? And what would you say is wrong with the third photo though? I mean, me personally, I don't mind the third photo, um, but I'm wondering if, oh yeah, thank you, Monica. Too much of the same pattern. See, I'm not even good at this kind of stuff, right? So I guess, yeah, I think it's too much of the same pattern or the same print. Definitely better than the first one, I would say. But again, I believe that all of our amazing ladies on this call know how to dress to impress. Okay. So moving along here. So that again, that does conclude, all right, the first part of our training today. I hope you enjoyed that bonus training, which of course was talking about proper dress code. And one thing that I did want to mention is, of course, going forward into our meetings, especially if you're here in Toronto, okay, folks, always come business casual. Always come business casual. And this training helped me a lot because I'm telling you, I've been going shopping with Heidi, trying to buy lamps for our new home and pillows and throws and everything I think looks good. She just gives me this weird look like I'm born on Mars somewhere. So it really helped me understand, some of this guidelines on how, of course, to look good, right? And so definitely if you have your meetings happening, of course, outside of Toronto, you want to make sure that you talk to your team. And I think even on your flyers that you create for your team, you should write in the flyers, come business casual. Put a dress code business casual because you know what? When people see an invite to a meeting that says business casual, they know it means business. They know that there's going to be a group of people in there who are going to be, essentially professionals, right? And because the last thing you want to have is a meeting with a bunch of people wearing, I don't know, like really blue collar type of, nothing wrong with blue collars, but you don't want to have that kind of perception of just, you have like, you want to have that definitely upscale type of a meeting because you want to attract the people that you want to attract. And if it's acceptable to come in joggers and and shorts, whatever it is, then that becomes what's accepted. And then that's the kind of people that you're also bringing into your business, right? So you want to find serious people who are attending your business tours, right? So by having a dress code for business casual, you're now bringing in people who also come from that kind of background as well too. Okay, now we're going to dive into the second part of the training, which was actually supposed to be the main part. And that, of course, is the 222 training. And I'm so excited to share this, of course, this new and a revised, updated presentation. It will be available, of course, too, in your back office. Okay. So here we go, the 2-minute story and edification. Who's ready? Do I still have everyone here awake this beautiful Saturday morning? The sun is shining outside. I can't wait to get outside today. But who's still with me? Say yes. Okay, already. Wonderful. Thank you, team, for being not just on the call, but also, of course, for paying attention, right? Okay. So here we go. Diving right into, of course, the 2-minute story and, of course, edification. Okay, thank you, team, for being so responsive. Helps to know that I'm not the only one on this call. Okay, here we go. So one of the most, I might even say, underutilized, yet the most effective part of your business is probably proper edification. And I didn't quite get this, when I initially got started, into the business. I thought if I told someone, hey, prospect, meet my friend in the business, he's been here for whatever, meet this guy. I had no idea, or meet the SVP or meet this LD4. It's not enough to say these titles because to some people, LD4 or LD2 don't mean a single darn thing, right? And I realized that just by spending that proper time, 2 minutes, to edify your upline or someone to your prospect, or even edifying another customer to your customer, it makes a world of a difference. In fact, if you aren't using edification, it means you're not using third party credibility. And that then means you're really making yourself have a harder time in the business. And here's why, right? Because people may know you, but your people don't know someone else in the business. And if you're not using any third party credibility, whether it's a story from someone else, a product testimonial, a business testimonial, or anyone in the business, then your prospect only perceives the business through what they see in you. And oftentimes, I've learned that even though I have my level of success, and you would think that maybe Renee doesn't need to have anyone else to bring into his stories, I always do. In fact, I don't just, I mean, really, my only upline is LD4 Reza, who's on the call right now. He's in Kenya. Hello, Reza. And then I have, of course, the CEO and the SVP. But, of course, even for me, I know that the CEO and the SVP are busy, right? So, and Reza, of course, he's also right now traveling in Kenya. And so sometimes, however, it's not even the fact that, Reza is my only upline, but sometimes I know that perhaps Reza's story might not be the most fitting for my prospect. And oftentimes, I'm constantly using people in my team to edify them. So, in terms of third party credibility or edifying your upline, my point is it doesn't have to be your upline. Does that make sense, team? Okay. It doesn't even have to be just your downline. It could be someone as a cross line. So if I were to meet someone, for example, who is hugely into health, I'm going to edify someone in my team who knows a lot about health. And it doesn't have to be, for example, Henry Shong, who's like a natural TCM. It could be someone else that just had a tremendous health story. So, you know, every time you have a prospect, I want to encourage you that you want to, at some point in time in your conversation with that prospect, bring in a third party credibility. Okay. So going over the slides here, edification is giving recognition to a person or event of importance in order to establish credibility. You're trying to establish credibility for your product or for yourself or for your business. And of course, you also want to lead the prospect to respect the person. So, the other day, I got into a phone call from someone who wanted to, have me help them answer some questions. And they said, oh, okay, guys, I'm glad I got you guys here. Renee, meet this person. This person, meet Renee. And that was it. That was the whole entire introduction. So, do you think that that prospect is going to be able to respect me? And here's a challenge. If you don't give the time and respect to edify the person you're going to be using, how do you expect your prospect to give time and to respect the person who you're asking to help support you, right? If you want your prospect to listen to whoever you're edifying, you have to edify them first, right? And so, again, leads the prospect to respecting the person who is often your upline, strengthening the third party credibility and the source of information. And so, again, here's a quick, our triangle of edification, which is where the prospect, okay, there's you, and then there's the expert. So you need to edify the expert or whoever is you're going who is going to be sharing the story. Okay. When you edify the expert, that way the prospect will also respect the expert. But look at these arrows here, right? It's not just going one way, is it? Why does the expert or myself, why do I want to edify back you? Why would your person you're edifying, and I hope that if someone is edifying you, it's always important to edify back to the person. And why is that? Why is it important that you edify both ways? Let's see the answers here, guys. Why is it important for the upline most of the time to also edify back the person who was edifying them? Let's see your answers here, team. So Shauna said it's for credibility. Absolutely. Absolutely. And let's see more answers, you guys. So why is it important for the expert who's being edified to also edify back you? So maybe it says it shows respect. Absolutely. It shows respect. Um, yes, respect, credibility, and trust. So actually what happens is when the expert edifies back you, what happens is that the prospect builds more trust with you because now you have someone else who's edifying you. And here's another really important reason why you want to do this. Because sometimes, I know that your prospect and you might have a relationship already. And your prospect may or may not think so highly of you. It's funny, right? Sometimes it's like that. When I got started, I was back then doing a lot of partying, and I might bring people to a meeting, and my friends might see me as a party animal. But then when my upline edifies me, it's showing my prospect a whole new side of me that they haven't seen before. So yeah, Renee might like to party, but guess what? He's serious when it comes to business. Wow. Wow. How powerful can that be, right? So, and also another key reason why you want to edify back your downline is because once you're done the call, who has to do the follow-up? So if I'm the expert and you edified me and I edified you back, once we're done that call, who is the one supposed to do the follow-up? It's supposed to be who, right? So I mean, I was just there to share my story, right? I got things to do. So it's your job to do the follow-up, correct? Right. So will it be easier for you to do the follow-up now, given that I also edified you back? Of course it is, right? Because the last thing you want to do is have an upline that you edify that doesn't edify you back, and it doesn't help you have a better closing process. So for me, I'm always trying to always edify back whoever edified me because I know it makes their life a lot easier, which makes all of our lives a lot easier. And so again, edification is probably one of the most underutilized tools in the business. And I love how some teams, I have to give hats off to, like a Ronan and his team because whenever they open a My Five, they ask the brand new partner to schedule a meet and greet with all of the My Fives. Like that is so important. And I keep telling my team to always do that because if your new person gets started and you're able to have them do 3 to 4 calls with the My Five, wow, you just stretch the world of your prospect, your new partner, to a whole new level, right? So again, always remember some key tidbits here, right? Are you introducing and encouraging your new partner to get in touch with your My Five and have that meet and greet call? It's part of the prosperity book, right? So, and of course, uh, and even I oftentimes, as an upline, when you meet your prospect, our job is to have that mutual respect, right? And this tripod of edification between trust, respect, and I think it goes a huge, huge, long, long ways. Okay, so and again, quick tip: it doesn't have to be your upline. It could be your downline. It could be a cross line. It could be someone who's not even in your business. It's rare, but if you were to know someone that's that would back you up and would edify you, who knows, right? So as long as it helps you, it gives you more credibility, you want to do it. Okay. So moving along here, the host. Now we're talking about, of course, going into live meetings, right? But the host is responsible for setting the pace of the energy in the room. It is very important for them to know the speaker's 2 minutes edification by heart to ensure a genuine delivery and a smooth transition. So sometimes I know that people try to perhaps find a host, and it's a great way for someone to sort of get used to being in front of the room. However, it's very important that the host is also very strong because the hosting is actually very important. If the host does a weak job at hosting the room, then it has low energy, then guess what? The whole room has low energy. Now it's making it harder for the presenter to try to pick up that energy because you started low. And so, wherever you are, if you're the host or if you're trying to find a host, make sure that they have really strong and positive and good energy because it makes it easier. It's like those relay races, the relays where you have the first racer, right? I mean, the first person taking off, if you have a great start, then the following people in the relay race have an easier time to finish that race. But if the starting person is slow and off that low energy, it makes it harder for everyone to win together. Okay, so very important that the host must. So if you have ever hosted, just make sure you have high energy. Now, second part to that though is you also want to have the edification of the speaker actually memorized. That's the best thing. So you don't know one of the tricks when it comes to edifying the speaker. Let's say you only had 2 minutes, or 20 minutes, whatever, to read the edification, right? The key thing is always to pick out at least 3 things about that speaker that is easy for you to remember, right? Sometimes, or you can sort of go in order. Usually, most speakers will give you a breakdown of their background, what they did before, where are they now, So always try to pick out at least three key things about that speaker. And if you are able to memorize more, fantastic, right? And so again, as a host, make sure you always get the speaker's identification. And it's best if you're not reading from something, right? It's okay to have maybe a quick drop card where you have key pointers of that person's identification, but you can't be looking at it the whole entire time you are hosting, right? The hosting's job is to just glance and keep focusing on the crowd, right? Make that eye contact. And one of the key things is when you make eye contact, try not just to look at the back of the room, try to look at the people in front of you, right? Second row, third row. Make it look like you're glancing the whole entire audience, because when you look at everyone in the audience, then they feel like they have to look back at you because they're being watched essentially, right? So some quick tips here on how to host properly. Again, and I think one of the most important things about hosting is you don't have to rush. Like, don't think that you have to speak super fast. In fact, the slower you go, the less chances you will have of making a mistake. The slower you go, the more time you have while you're talking to think about what's the next thing to say. If you go too fast, then you might have to do a pause. Okay. So again, for all of our hosts, or if you're looking for a host, please remind them we need high energy. Try to memorize that identification to ensure a genuine and a very smooth transition. Okay. So we had a 2 minute edification. Now we're moving on to the art of telling your 2 minute story. Okay. And your 2 minute story. Now, quick question. Does this slide say your 5 minute story? Question, guys. Or does it say your 2 minute story? And why do you think I'm asking that question? Why do you think I'm asking the question? If is it 2 minutes? Is it 3 minutes? Can it be 5 minutes? Can it be 10 minutes? Can it be 100 minutes? hmm It's your 2 minute story. Because if you go on for more than 2 minutes, okay, if you're the final closer of the night, you're a special guest, different story. Okay. But if you're being called upon to share your 2 minute product story or 2 minute business story, it's got to be 2 minutes. Why? Because we have other speakers coming after you. And the last thing we want to have is a speaker that goes up there that drags it on. And now your 1 hour presentation is becoming an hour and a half or 2 hours. Okay. So, um, yeah. So again, I love all the feedback, by the way, coming in. Okay. And so I love all those responses. Thank you so much. So again, 2 minute story, moving along here, can consist of the following components. So your 2 minute story, think of the 5 W's, right? Who, what, where, when, why, and how. So when? So when did you launch your business? Right? Was it number of days, weeks, months, or years? And by the way, I hope everyone right now can just really quickly, I'll take a pause, grab a pen and paper, because we're going to do this right now together on this call. Okay. So take a minute, really quickly, go grab a piece of paper and grab a pen. Okay. Or if you're on your phone, you can open up a notepad, and I'll give another 30 seconds for everyone, because I want to make sure that everyone gets this done properly. Okay. Everyone gets this done properly. So your 2 minute story, again, we just said, has to consist of when, which is, when you launch your business. Why? So why did you start your business? Was it because you want to have more money, less stress? Perhaps you hate your job. You want more time with the family. Okay, these are all reasons why. And who? Who introduced you to your business? So these are the three most important of the 5 W's. These three are the most important that you must have in your 2 minute story. Now, again, this one here is designed as your business testimonial. Okay. When did you launch your business? Why you started your business? Okay. And also who introduced you to your business. Now, it doesn't have to be in that exact order. Okay. So mine, for example, might sound like, well, in 2007 of October, that was when my sister, this is who, my sister had wanted to introduce me to this company. And back then, even though I wasn't really looking per se at a jewelry business, however, I knew that I wanted to have more money. I hated my job. I didn't want to be there, for the next 50 years. And one day I wanted to be able to have, a nice car, a nice home, time with the family. And that's why I got started in this business. So that's just the first part, okay? When you launched, why you started your business, and who introduced you. So really quickly, make some pointers on your story. And what you'll find is as you're telling your 2-minute story, you're going to find a much better and better and better way of telling that exact same story. Okay, but we have to start somewhere. Okay, so everyone have your when, why, and who. Okay, please say yes in the group chat if you have your when, your why, and your who already jotted down. Okay, wonderful. Thank you, Maria. Thank you, Juliet Allen. Thank you, Denya. Thank you, Mavis. Fantastic. Okay, we're gonna carry on. Thank you, Amarjeet. Thank you, Rania. Wonderful. So the other really cool part of the 2-minute story, just to kind of go here, is also, and we're gonna get that a bit later on, is to talk about the results. Okay, but we're gonna get there in a short second. So here is another example of a 2-minute story. I just gave you my example, but here's another one. So, and here's a really good script that you can use, and you kind of, fill in whatever the dots here. So I started my part-time business in October of 2007. I love the products and the results, but I also want to earn extra income to buy myself a new car. And I want to buy my own condo. So I met my friend for lunch and I noticed his new BMW he drove. I asked him, what's he do for a living now? He said he launched his own online business with exclusive products and has grown to over 30 countries. He said the best part was that he had not even traveled to all 25 of them or all 30 of them, or he had traveled to 25 of them. Okay. So he's been to 5 basically, but not 25. Again, it doesn't even have to be anything close to this, right? This is your 2-minute story. So, and you can tailor it, right? Maybe you do want to mention the fact that you met someone in the business who really inspired you to want to start your own business, right? Maybe Henry inspired you. Maybe Ifra inspired you. Maybe Ronan inspired you. Maybe Reza inspired you. Maybe Sherry inspired you, right? We have so many amazing people in the company. And it might not even be a huge leader. It might be someone who just got started a few months ago that had an amazing result in their business or amazing, result in the product. And that's why you started your business, right? So again, everyone's story is supposed to be different. And you want to tell your story. Okay. So I hope you have, again, you don't have to make it perfect right now. The whole idea is to get those key points that you want to have in your 2-minute story right now. Get those key points written down and you're going to practice over and over again. You're going to tailor it. Okay. So as you are telling your 2-minute story, and we're getting to, of course, the business testimonials, okay, it helps to share the following in this order. So, personal income earned and or the size of your entire organization and or the total sales volume in your entire organization. And then, of course, your growth target in sales, team income in 12 months and overall. So this is very important because a lot of people I find make money in this business. And it doesn't matter, like it doesn't have to be $1 million a month in order to share your business testimonial, right? Some people think that they had to have made a lot of money in order to share their business testimonial, and that's not true, right? I got started and I wasn't making huge money in the beginning, but I still shared my business testimonial, right? Everyone starts somewhere. But if you ever need a big income testimonial, you have someone in the company you can call upon. You want to share your story, okay? And so, in your testimonial, after you've gone through the who, the what, so the when, why, and who, you now want to finish your testimonial with this part here. Now, we have 15 ways of making money, right, guys? Okay. I think what's really important is if you're not sharing the fact that you had earned retail profits this week, that you earned wholesale profits this month, that you had earned, team commissions this month, that you have earned the variance bonus, that you earned the upcoming commission boost, you got MGS, you got cost qualified. Like you need to be telling the world that you earned these things. And it's I had a chat actually with our CEO, and we're talking about even myself sometimes. I do tend to hit most of the income stories, but I realize wouldn't it be cool? Imagine this, right? You go in front of the stage, or you're talking to your prospect, and as you're showing the 15 different ways of making money, your 2 minute story sounds like, well, by the way, guess what? I earned retail profits of X amount, or you don't even have to mention the amount. Say I earned retail profits. I got wholesale profit. I also got team commissions this week. I got the car bonus. I got the MGRS. I also got the variance bonus. I got the commission boost. I got the fast start bonus or whatever. I got free Opulence points. Imagine, like most of you already have these things. I got 1, 2, or 3 shares of MGS. But if you're not talking about it, you're not inspiring anyone. And in this business, we must constantly be inspiring our people and inspiring and motivating our people and sharing that excitement. And nothing can be more exciting than you saying to people how many of the 15 different ways of making money you earn income in. See, most companies out there, you're making money in 1 or 2 ways, and that's it. In our business, most people here are making income in 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different ways. So I hope from now on that if you go in front of the room or you're sharing your 2 minute story with your people, you know, I was talking to Ronan just the other day, he mentioned that he had launched like, LAPs, which meant that he got the wholesale profit. I know that he also had probably sold product, which meant that he got his MGRS, which meant he got his car bonus. He got his marketing allowance privilege, right? So all these things, right? Are we talking about that? Because wow, imagine if we have a flood of people on social media. You don't have to tell the actual dollar amount. That's not even the point. Because what will wow someone is, oh my goodness, you made income from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different ways. Add that together. It's got to be something. It's got to be something. And that is what's going to encourage your people. Am I making sense, team? Am I making sense, right? It doesn't even have to be current. You could have, maybe you got a car bonus 3 months ago. You can say, I've tasted the car bonus, I've tasted MGRS, I've tasted retail profits, I've tasted wholesale profit, I've tasted 12 of the 15 different ways of making money, right? So I hope I'm making sense. If I'm making sense, say you're making sense, Renee. Because it's a great way of inspiring, motivating people in the audience, your prospects, your team. And again, if you're making it, you're not sharing it, you're not helping anyone. You're not helping anyone. You're putting a huge stop sign in front of yourself in the business. Because again, thank you so much, team. Because again, your income, your stories inspire people. We're in the business of telling stories, right? And if you're not telling your story, and especially sharing all the different ways you've made money, you're just hampering your own business. You're like stepping on your own feet. Like, why would you do that? Okay. So in your notes right now, put down the income that you might have earned, or the size of your organization. I always say that I started with one person, it became two, it became four. Now there's 30,000 people in over 120 countries, right? You can mention the total sales volume in your organization. And the last part that's very important here is here is like the icing on the cake, okay? The icing on the cake is when you mention your growth target in terms of the sales you want to have in the future, your team size, or your income you want to have in the next 12 months. What's your growth target? Because nothing can excite someone more than knowing that you've made money in all these different ways. And now your goal is to work with as many other people who have the same drive, who also want to achieve the same thing. Wow. Imagine how powerful that is when you're in front of the room. You have an audience in front of you. They've seen how you made money in 7 of the 15 different ways. You started only a few months ago. And your growth target now is to have a team size of X amount of people. You want to reach, a 5-figure monthly income in the next few months. And more importantly, you want to help 10 other people who are going to be dedicated to work as hard as you are to get there. You know, if you're one of those 10 people who are serious, come see me after the meeting. We'll put a game plan together for you. And let's go. Let's go. Let's go. For those of you who don't know, I have a special group chat called the Legends Leadership Program. It's called LLP. It's a very special group chat on WhatsApp. Anyone can be a part of it. The requirement is we need at least about 10 hours to 15 hours of your time per week. And what we do is we post our daily activities in that group, our DMO and our WMO. I'm posting myself too. I know I have to lead by example. I know I must also be the first to act. And I'm posting every single day how many prospects I talked to, how many brochures, how many bottles I sold. I sold 16 bottles. So 16, I sold plus 6 is 22 bottles the other day, right? I have me set up for next week already. But so if you're serious about this business, so if you're just here, you want to sell a few bottles and you don't want to make a lot of money, you want to make a bit of money, that's cool. Or if you're really busy, you don't have much time. But if you're serious and you have at least 10 to 15 hours of commitment, and you want to be guided on how to hit a 5-figure monthly income, this group chat, you need to be part of it. And you need to contribute in that group chat. Because I find personally, I know I had to put my results there. It keeps me motivated. It keeps me on my DMO. Okay, so if you have any questions about that group chat, please contact your sponsor. Hey, how can I get onto Renee's LLP group? And we'll add you there. Okay. So I just want to move on here. Okay, so please, if you can find me on WhatsApp and say, hey Renee, can you please add me to your LLP group? I'll definitely add you, welcome you, and looking forward to seeing your daily results. Right? We're not looking for results. We're looking for daily action. Right? What is your IGA, your income generating activity? Right? Who are you talking to? How many brochures did you hand out? Right? How many follow-ups did you did? Right? We want to know about that, not always the result, but what is the process, your daily actions. Okay. All right. So again, moving along here. So again, that was a 2-minute story for your business testimonial. So sometimes you might be called upon to doing a product testimonial, and sometimes you'll be called upon to doing a business testimonial. We just covered the business testimonial, and right now we're going to cover the product testimonial. But I just saw, of course, our incredible LD4 Ifra Hassan, who just, of course, is on the call now. I told you before, she is hustling and bustling at our trade show. Again, she's on the field, in the field, leading by example. Ifra, for someone, who used to work for the Canadian tax department, left her job and went full-time in the middle of the pandemic. You are someone that inspires many, many people around the globe. Of course, at your very young, tender age as well, too. You are a huge inspiration for the young people out there. And I do believe that you are online for being the next youngest millionaire. So Ifra, did you want to take over here? So I'm here for if you need me, but I didn't want to give you a chance to turn the call over to you.
Amazing. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, Opulence Nation. I was rushing. As you can see, I am at a very prestige event. We have a lot of amazing entrepreneurs. We have people from social media, influencers, a lot of people. So that's why I said, regardless of what's happening, I'm going to be here and I'm going to show up. So absolutely. Thank you, Renee. You are doing fantastic as always. It's an honor to be here to show this up with you. And yes, definitely, let's do this. So are you going to run me the PowerPoint, or should I open my own, or you'll do it? Awesome.
Yeah, I'll push for you. I'll be your clicker.
Thank you. Thank you. So the art of telling your 2-minute story. This is honestly one of the first skill sets that I had to learn when I got started 6 years ago, right? Because of the fact that the better that you tell your story, the more that you're able to inspire. Our CEO says it best always. This industry is about inspiration, right? It's not about the big money. It's not about that, but can you inspire people with your story? So crafting my story to this day, I'm always tweaking it. I'm tweaking it because in my culture, right, Somali culture, I'm sure many cultures are like that. We'll talk a lot. We talk a lot. So I had to learn how to get to the point. So I see here that we are at the product testimonial. Thank you everyone for the love. Thank you. I'm honored to be here with all of you. So product testimonial, what do you want to share when you're talking about product testimonial? Retail sales, right? I know my sister Maria is on the call here. She's the retail queen, right? So I'm sure every single time Maria talks about it. Thank you, my sister Naima. We're actually going to talk about dressing for success very soon. I don't know if Renee did it already, but yes, you definitely want to dress for success. So retail sales. Oh, you did already. Awesome.
Yeah, done already.
I love it. So experiences, right? Because at the end of the day, no matter what kind of product that you're selling, at the end of the day, it's about what has it done for you, right? Naima, what has it done for you? They want to know what it has done for you. Stories again, and your passion for the products. Our SVP says it all the time, right? If your passion, it's not coming through, she always says that don't fake it until you make it. Do it until you make it, right? Or something like that. Basically, people can read off of your story, right? When you're sharing it, if you have used it or not. I have seen people that try to fake it, and I promise you, it doesn't get them very far. So share with a lot of conviction, with a lot of stories. Now, let's say you're someone that's brand new, like my sister Mina. I'm sure she's on the call. You've all heard a lot about Mina in Ottawa. She may not have a lot of testimonial yet. She just got her products, right? So what you can do, we have an amazing Facebook testimonial group, right? That you can go on where you can see, okay, give me 1 second here. Okay. Where you can actually see other people and share that, right? Even me, as someone who has been around for 6 years, I still, every time that I see a testimonial that I think someone I know might be interested, I take a screenshot, right? And I share with them. Renee is a master at this. Every single morning, there isn't a day that he's not sharing a new testimonial, right? So even if you've been around, you still want to do that, share testimonial. But in this case, as part of your story, if you don't have one to share yet, share the testimonial from the group. Okay, next, Renee. My clicker. All right, now business testimonial. I find that this is one that a lot of people, right? A lot of people try or a little bit hesitant to share. Why? They feel like, oh, well, I haven't achieved the financial freedom yet, right? I haven't made the big money yet. But the reality is, from the moment you start, there is a business testimonial, right? When was that first bottle that you sold, that necklace that you sold, right? That ring that you sold. So it's not about the big money. It's that first sell. How did it make you feel? I know for me, one of the ones that I always share to this day is when I got started, my mom was the first person who used the product. And within the first month, she introduced the product. She introduced me to 20 people who also purchased the product, right? So how do you think a month later, I'm telling people I have 20 VIPs? What does that mean, right? What is it going to tell the next person? Oh, she just started. She's already selling a lot, right? So don't shy, I always say, away from the business testimonial. So when did you get started? Okay, I started my part-time business. Ding, ding, ding. For me, I have two dates I always say, right? One is the one that I actually started, which is February 28, 2018, but I didn't share the business with anyone until April 7, 2018, right? So when did you get started? Why? Why did you get started? Our CEO says it always in forensic, your why has to make you cry, right? So by sharing the reason why, you will be able to relate with the other person, right? You might be able to touch their itch. For example, if your why is traveling, how many people do you know that love to travel? So I love the products and the results, but I also wanted to earn extra income. Okay, why? I want to travel with my family. I know, again, Renee, it's a perfect example of that, right? Now, who introduced you to the business? I didn't know how important this is until one day I was talking to one of my, well, I have my initial sponsor, Saad Saeed, and of course I have my sister, Stephanie Wise, right? So when I, at the beginning, started sharing, I used to say, oh, two sisters share this with me, you know, one sister shared with me, and then I realized how important it is to acknowledge them, okay? So I started acknowledging them, and that made it even more relatable to my story, right? In our community, when I tell them that the person who shared with me is actually a mom, right? An educator, and this with all these credentials, they're wild about it. So don't dim the light of your sponsor, right? So that's something that I had to learn. Instead of just randomly saying two sisters, to really talk a little bit about who they are. So who introduced you? I met my friend for coffee. She was asking me about how the pandemic and the cost of living increased since it had affected my lifestyle. I was surprised to hear the only inconvenience for her through it all was the travel and the lockdown restrictions. She said she was living her best life and catching up on a ton of travel with her family. She asked me if I wanted to come for a tour being hosted at her house to hear about her business that has been growing every year since she started in 2018. Notice how this person took the time to edify and to share the story of their sponsor, right? It's very, very important. Again, acknowledging them, it will really relate to the person more than you know. All right, next, Renee, please. Okay, so again, what has the product done for you, right? Great, your friend shared it with you, great. Yeah, sorry, I'm a little bit under the weather. So great that your friend shared it with you, right? What has it done for you? Share yours and other testimonials without making claims. Again, very, very important, right? You don't want to make any claims. Launched my email. I started my own part-time business just to offer the products to friends, family, and associates, since everyone needs to protect and preserve their well-being. I noticed that a lot of times people, the first thing that will get them in is the products. Why? The quality of the products, right? But afterwards, they're thinking, wait a minute, you mean I can get up to 37% wholesale on this? I can help my friends and family get better or look great, right? I'm all decked out, as you can see my passion, right? Look great and make money. Okay, I'm in, sign me up, right? And that's why I always say every time I have a VIP who comes to me, at least up to 3 months max, I make sure I show them the tour, whether or not they decide to choose. I have a friend of mine for the 6 years that I've been in the business. She's my #1 VIP every single month. She's ordering products. She hasn't joined yet, but guess what? I have shown her the opportunity anyways. So take the time to show them and you'll be amazed how many will become your business partners. Now, let's talk about business results, right? I see Amarjeet saying yes. She's a queen of that. As soon as she gets somebody on the product, next thing you know, she's launching them, right? Launched my email. I started my own part-time business just to offer the products to friends, family. Oh, I've talked about that already. Now,
Okay, so while she's busy, I know that she's at that trade show right now too. Just sort of, I guess, maybe just share, of course, some other quick tips as we're waiting for IFRA to get back to here as well. And so definitely sort of beyond this here, I think it's so important that like you heard mentioned before, on your social media that you're constantly sharing product testimonials. I can't express how important that is because even on my own Facebook, I do try to do a post of a product testimonial at least once every few days. And you might not think that people are watching you, but trust me, they're always watching. And that's how I got all these orders. People say, "Oh, Renee, actually, you know what? Let me try it now." So, Ifra's back. I'll turn the call back to you, Ifra. Take it away.
Thank you, Renee. I'm actually being told to move. I'm like, I'm almost done. I promise. Okay, expansion. Let's talk about expansion. I started thinking, I know lots of people that can use extra income. So I started telling people about my experience and these incredible products. Some people got excited, as I did, and also launched their own Opulence emails, right? Over the last year, my emails has done over, done, right? Always, again, don't be afraid to share the numbers in retail sales. Can you believe that? Right? Can you believe I sold an entire momentum back in the last month, in the last week, right? Or, 4,000 worth of retail products combined, right? Can you believe that my target is within a year to double my job income and quit my job? The first 2 years, as many of you have heard my story, I was still working full-time for the government. And every single time I spoke to someone, I always talked about my target. Yes. When my Uber drivers would pick me up to work and they say, "Oh, you're going to work," because everybody recognizes the government building, I tell them, "Yes, but not for long." They're like, "What do you mean?" "Oh, I'm leaving in a year to two." "How? What are you doing on Tuesday at 7 p.m.? Are you available to come?" So I would bring them to a tour by just sharing with them my aspiration, right? I was just brand new. I'm nowhere near there. But in my mind, that was my target. And by sharing it, that's what helps. So don't be afraid to share with them. Right now, Dubai 2025 is coming, right? Well, I want to take my entire family to Dubai, right? How would you like to learn how you can come with your entire family as well? I know my sister Naima, she wants to bring her 3 boys with her, right? So don't be afraid to share what is making you wake up every single morning, right? Why are you doing what you're doing? Let's connect one day next week and have a conversation about this business. Okay, simple. Okay, next, please. Okay. Yes, Amarjeet, yes. Let's go to Dubai for free. Habibi, come to Dubai. All right, now, product testimonial. I think Henry is probably on the call here. I am sure he is by far the best what I have seen, how he covers our products, how he talks about it. It's incredible. So product testimonial here is when you started. So again, you talk about that, right? Why? I felt that I really needed to do something other than my job to be able to, right? Why I send my children to medical school, right? I know a lot of my team, at least 80% are parents, and that is one of their why, to be able to send their kids without worrying about tuition fees, right? Who introduced you again? I received a call one day from, right, in my case, Sahra Saeed, right, and told me about this high performance antioxidant product called the Fountain of Life, right, that she's been using. She sent me a link called Oxidative Stress, documented me and added me to Facebook testimonial, right? I was blown away by the results I read coming from customers in how many countries have we already distributed our products, right? In fashion, you could say 200 territories, right? Countries and territories. It doesn't even have to be 100. That is why our company takes up talking about how fashion, we should really embrace our heritage because there is no limit. Everybody wants to look good, right? It doesn't matter. Not everybody, unfortunately, cares about their health, right? But in this case, this example is about Fountain of Life. So we have customers in 100+ countries. So I decided to give the product a try. Okay, what has the product done for you? Again, what has it done for me? In my case, it helped me with my allergies, digestion, and iron. What has it done for you? Now, I started my own part-time business just to offer the products. Okay, I feel like we've talked about this, Renee, already. It reminds me of an example I just read. Okay, so here's the review. Here's a recap. Take a screenshot. take a screenshot because here's a homework. Here's a homework for you, okay? We're gonna build your own 2-minute story. When did you launch? Do you have 2 dates like me? You're gonna have to choose one. If you have one, fantastic. Why you started your business, right? In my case, it was really to contribute to my community. It was never about me. For some of you, it's about your parents. Others, it's about traveling. Whatever it is, who introduced you to the business? Again, you're applying product testimonial and a business testimonial. As you can see here, there's actually a category, what you can share under business testimonial, okay? Personal income earned. In my first month, I had 20 VIPs, right? Size of your entire organization. How big is your organization? Even if it's 2 people, yes, you're gonna talk about it. Total sales volume in your entire organization. I know Mona in Ottawa talks about this, right? She's been with us since inception, and she talks about how many sales is in her organization. And every time we go, wow, right? That goes to show you the strength of our residual income. Your growth target, again, what is your target? What is your dream? What is your aspiration, right? In sales, team income in 12 months and overall, all right? So I don't know if we want to get few people to share here, Renee. I see that we still have a lot of time.
You know what? Definitely, I think we can. So, if anyone here would like to, of course, practice, this again is the most safest haven to practice, your 2-minute story, and we can maybe even help you create, modify your 2-minute story, help you improve upon it. So, right now, definitely, we actually have come to the end of the training. Wow, time actually flies. It's 10 o'clock. It's already 11:22. And Ifra, I know you're busy. Please feel free to go and get back to your trade show event. Wish you the best there. And so yes, for those of us on the call still, would anyone like to step up? Of course, now's the best time to practice getting out of your comfort zone, and share either your 2-minute business testimonial or your 2-minute product testimonial. Okay, that is actually the end of the actual training today. The last slide was share stories more than facts about the product and business results. We are highly paid storytellers. Okay, so because again, we are storytellers, facts tell, but stories do sell. Okay, and so thank you for today's training.